Alors, sans plus tarder, veuillez accueillir Martine Groulx et Courtney Barnett.
How many people were there yesterday? I think a lot of the people were there. Everyone seems to be so excited, like it's such a treat to be playing. Is that the way you feel?
Yeah, you know, last night was it felt like a really special show. I guess every day is so different, and on tour it's kind of, especially lately, we've had some crazy days of flights cancelled and no sleeping and things like that, and I think sometimes it can be really horrible, and sometimes it can just be really magical, and I think at the end of the day, you know, to be on stage singing songs to people who have turned up to watch you and pay for a ticket is really incredible, and so I'm really grateful to be able to do it.
Are there any women that you think that have been such an influence, especially in your youth, if there are songwriters or any women in the industry?
I think growing up, I probably didn't really have that many, to be honest. No one really shared that music with me. I grew up listening to my brother's music, which was an influence. So that was mostly Nirvana and stuff like that. And then my dad, I listened to a lot of my dad's jazz records, and a lot of like Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday. That was inspiring, but I was like, well, I can never sing like that. So I'll play guitar instead. My brother showed me Nirvana and Jimi Hendrix, so I guess they were my two my two guitar inspirations as a kid. You know, I got the Stories from the City album, PJ Harvey, that like guitar.
Of course.
Yeah. There's an Australian band called Magic Dirt. Adelita, who's the main singer and guitar player, she was an inspiration for me, and I think one of the first bands I saw when I turned 18 and started going to shows. And you know, a small club, I was like this far from her, and she's like thrashing around, putting her guitar on the ceiling, and I was like,
yeah, so amazing. Is there something specific that you are the most proud of in your whole career? Because I mean, you've done a lot.
I did some shows with Patti Smith a few years ago, and that was a really big deal for me. We did a festival in Australia, and then she was doing a couple of shows in Melbourne, and so I bought tickets straight away, and then they announced one more show at this like slightly bigger venue, and I got asked to open.
You talk a lot about the switch between being hopeful and being hopeless, and being stressed out and being relaxed. Is there a way that you found that is the best way to bring yourself back to positivity when you're feeling anxious?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like it's a kind of eternal. I'm always figuring that out, I think. An obvious one is remembering kind of to be grateful and how privileged I am. I think that's a starting point, you know. Maybe I'll do Depressed, and I'm very sorry. Yeah, okay. All right. This is nice. Okay, Depressed. You said we should look out further. I guess it wouldn't hurt us. We don't have to be around all these coffee shops. Now we've got that percolator. Never made a latte greater. I'm saving $23 a week. We drive to a house in Preston. We see police arresting a man with his hand in a bag. How's that for first impressions? This place seems depressing. It's a Californian bungalow in a cul-de-sac. It's got a lovely garden and a garage for 2 cars to park in, or a lot of room for storage if you've just got one. And it's going pretty cheap, you say? Well, it's a deceased estate on the pressed metal ceiling's great. Then I see the handrail in the shower, a collection of those canisters for coffee, tea and flour, and a photo of a young man in a van in Vietnam. And I can't think of floorboards anymore, whether the front room faces south or north, and I wonder what she bought it for. Start rebuilding. If you've got a spare $500,000, you could knock it down and start rebuilding. If you've got a spare $500,000, you could knock it down. Those harmonies. Who was doing that? That was beautiful. I've never heard harmonies in that song. Thank you. That was really pretty. Well, thanks.
Is there something that you like to do that has nothing to do with music that helps you take a break from your work and just relax?
Sleep.